Hi, everybody. So welcome to this webinar about Wikiquote. This is related to the SheSaid campaign. It's a campaign of Wiki Love Women. So we have here Florence Devoir, who can talk us about this campaign. Please, Florence.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Camilla and Rosie. So yeah, I had an idea at the beginning of 2020. Before we were locked in, I must insist, I had the idea that we have been doing a lot of activities and initiative related to the gender gap for the past few years with Rosie and Camilla and many other people. And one thing we had never explored really was the question of quotes. So what are famous, notable women saying? Do we have entries about these women? But we do have some entries sometimes on Wikipedia, but we don't record regularly what they have been saying in terms of famous quotes. So I thought, what about having a campaign in 2020 that would foster attention on Wikiquotes, which is a sister project from Wikipedia, and try to get more entries about women into Wikiquotes and try to get more quotes from women on various topics. I'm just not saying only quotes related to feminism, and I'm really saying quotes on any type of topic that could populate Wikiquotes entries. So I got this idea, I put it on the side of my mind for the rest of the year. And about a month ago, I started working on that. I went to have a look on some statistics. We have Jan in the backstage. Maybe Jan can share a screen. That is the page I started on Meta. I called the campaign SheSaid because I thought it was pretty obvious. And from this page that you can find on Meta, I started looking at some statistics related, for example, to the number of entries on Wikiquote being male or female. And for example, there are, you can scroll down a little bit, scroll up. Jan? Yes, perfect. Stop. So for example, in terms of figures, on the French Wikiquotes, there are 519 women entries. Well, that was a month ago. And we have, in comparison, 3,117 men being listed. It's pretty much the same in other languages. So I took just this one as an example. Also, if you look at the main page of, for example, the English Wikiquotes, I looked at, of course, that day the featured person was a guy that was just before the election, the American election. But there is a list of featured people on the main page, just as a special lights on these articles. And I noticed that there were 29 men featured and only 4 female featured. And it's not a criticism of people who choose the featured. They have very few women articles to choose from. And last, I also looked at what about the women that have a featured article in English or French, so very notable person, and are they entries on Wikiquote related to these very famous women for which article many people have been working on them because they reached the featured status. Well, 233 women have a featured article on the English or French Wikipedias, but they have no entries on Wikiquote. So I thought those were good points to start from. And I proposed to launch a campaign that was to last about 2 months. We have time, and that can go on in 2021 anyway. And the idea was simply to add some quotes and some entries about women on Wikiquotes. The only thing I suggested we do to try to track the impact was to add an hashtag that would be SheSaid in the comment box when we edit a page on Wikiquotes or elsewhere, by the way. So we did that. We launched, that was mid-October. But then many people came to me and said, okay, this is a great idea. We would love to participate to this SheSaid campaign, but we actually have never participated to Wikiquotes in the past. So we don't really know how it works. We know it's a wiki, so more or less must be some similarities with Wikipedia. But how does it exactly work? What is Wikiquote? What can we do with it? What are the rules? What are the customs over there? What can we do? What should we not do? And I started from there. I don't really know myself either. So I looked for some people who could explain that to us. I looked for people that could be helping us newcomers. And this is how I found Camelia, right? So thank you very much, Camelia. She's going to tell us everything about Wikiquotes. And Rosie here is just as me, a person who is super involved on gender gap topic. And I think she doesn't really know either exactly what Wikiquotes is. Tell us about, what do you know about Wikiquotes, Rosie?
Well, hi. I'm so glad to participate in this event with both of you. I'm here in Camille. I don't know anything about how to edit Wikiquote, but I know that its purpose is to capture people's quotes. So I'm here to listen and learn. I have a couple of example quotes that eventually, when we're not doing this webinar, I will then try to add to English Wikiquotes. Maybe 2-3 years ago, Camelia once showed me briefly, this is how you do Wikiquotes, but whatever she showed me, I forgot, probably because I didn't stop and try to do anything myself at the time. It was just something she showed me at a conference. So like many people who are listening to you now, I'm new and interested and curious and want to participate. I just don't know where to start.
Okay, so we'll give the floor to Camelia. Just as a side note, we'll leave you on your thing. We will focus on the comments page, on the comments box. If you have any question, you want to make any comments, just please do. Camelia, the floor is yours.
Yes. So this is, so let's talk about editing Wikiquote with this campaign, SheSaid campaign. This is a campaign that was launched during the CC summit by Florence and Ayla. And this, you already saw the main page on Meta about this campaign. This campaign has also some postcards that are presenting quotes of notable female. Here I choose Malala ones, the postcard. And let's do, I don't know, a quiz. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So maybe a lot of us know these quotes, but maybe a lot of us give the attribution to Voltaire, isn't it? It's not Voltaire, it's Evelyn Beatrice Hall. And this misunderstanding, maybe it's starts from the fact that she wrote this book, The Friends of Voltaire, in 1906. So this is the page, how it looks, the page in English Wikiquote. As you can see, you have the classical sections as in Wikipedia, quotes, the classical style formatting, and so on. Why it's important to have female quotes? I think it's important because, first of all, as we talk, it's about correct attribution. So we know who said what. Another thing, it's the fact that a code integrates a Wikipedia biography. Maybe you saw a lot of pages in Wikipedia with pieces of codes. So usually the pieces that you see in Wikipedia need to be also in Wikiquote too. Also because it's about visibility and credibility of the notable people. It's about being a model, an inspiration to the other. And that means empowering. And it's also about the fact that this way you are telling a true story about the female notable woman. This is the main page of Wikiquote. As you can see, is very similar to Wikipedia. So we have the most active Wikiquote. It's English Wikiquote. They have 38 articles, more than 38,000 articles. Then Italian Wikipedia, 33, and so on. This is I found some statistics about the sites in English Wikiquote and Italian Wikiquote. As you can see, the numbers are not so great. We have in English Wikipedia more than 20,000 editors, but only 118 active editors. In Italian Wikipedia, we have more than 5,000 registered editors, but only 38 active editors. So the number are very less, a few, not so. Let's talk about policies. So the site, Wikiquote site, have a lot of policies and guidelines similar, like some similar with Wikipedia, something not the same. So Florence said that Wikiquote, it's an accurate and comprehensive collection of notable quotations. So the quotes need to be accurate, comprehensive, notable, and need to be quotation. What is not a dictionary, is not a personal website, is not a collection of personal quotes, is not a forum discussion. A lot of things you can easily find also on the other Wikimedia sites. So one of the most important policy is the neutral point of view. I can say that this is not the same in Wikipedia, because you are referring to reflection of a quoted individual. So it's a POV. We are talking about POV, but you need to do a selection and a presentation of the quotes in a non-neutral point of view manner. So the intros, you write the templates and so on. There are some specific and some common policies. We are talking always about copyrights. We are talking about keeping only the compendium of quotation, to respect the other contribution, convention about editing, naming, disambiguation, and so on. And specific policies or policies and guidelines, they're taken from, they're in common with Wikipedia, like no personal attack, be bold, correct spelling, and filling always a summary text box, and so on. Some of the guidelines is the same of assume good faith, the same we can find in also in the other wiki projects. You can then the quotability. So the quotability means that you need to have to verificate the resources. You need to have the originality factor. So the quotes need to be said by someone. So you by the person you are writing the article. The subject matter factor, notability of the author of the work we are writing about, some factor about related to quality, to the length of dialogues, the fame, and the end-runs factor. This is talking about sources. There are two kinds of sources. Sources and the unsourced section. So when you write an article in Wikiquote, you can find these two sections. The sourced section are about quotes, about attribution, and about misattribution. And then you have the unsourced section. Quotes means the text that was released during an interview. Attributed is the thing you know that people, that notable people said, and the misattributed are the things that are in error way attributed to these notable people. Let's see the structure of the page. The structure of the page, I choose Marie Curie page. As you can see, we have also the incipit, so the part on the top when you wrote the name of the...
Camelia?
Yes?
Camelia, can I interrupt you, please? Would it be possible that you increase the size of the font, like a Command Plus?
Let me see. How can I do this?
Well, for me, I do Command Plus, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, in the browser.
But it
doesn't work.
That doesn't work on StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Because we are inside of a tool, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So if you have the site Wikiquote site and you go to the article related to Marie Curie, you can find the part on the top which is related to the name, to the birth date, the death date, and what was the occupation, so information about these notable people. You then have the section of quotes when you fill with with quotes that these notable people said. We have also the section, as we said previously, about misattributed, so that quote that are attributed in a not correct way to this person. And then quotes about Marie Curie. So on the first section, you have quotes by Marie Curie. On the second, you have quotes about Marie Curie. So someone else who said something about Marie Curie. We have also the section about see also. So other articles related to this biography. Also the external link, and on the bottom the categories, all the categories that are are related to this biography. Let's talk about style. As you can see, the style is very, very similar to Wikipedia. So to write a list, you need to put the hashtag, you need to put the asterisk. So you need to use all the sign to construct a list, an ordinated list or unordinated list. So it's the same syntax. Let's see, how can we start a new article? We can start a new article by using the input box. So Wikiquote help us to start a new article by providing an input box. So depending on what is related the article, you can start to write a biography, a work, a literary work, a film, a television show, a proverb, and so on. Here is an example of a biography. So I started a new article about a biography, about a person. So as you can see, the tool you can see on the URL, it's saying preload Wikiquote template people. So in this case, when you click create, the template put inside the article, inside the page, some of the default structure of the page. You do the same thing like in Wikipedia. You write the summary of what you did. You can show the preview and publish the page, save the page. So here what it looks. So as you can see, the default article for a person, it's looking in this way. You have external links, we have category and quotes and so on. Another way to start an article, it's about searching using the searching box. So you search for an article, you see that it's not present, and you link. You click on the. Excuse me.
Camilla, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you again, but just for a clarification. When for the first solution you said use the input, what's the name?
Input box, yes.
Input box. Where does that?
Yes.
Where do you find that?
So it's in a page. It means get started. Let me see if I found it quickly. So on the how can you start an article, you can find on the main page this input box. So Wikiquote.
Jeanne, can you show us the I don't know if you can.
No, I need to switch. So
okay, yeah, switch.
Starting a new page. So I need to switch. I need to switch because we are still on this. Unfortunately, the tool is strange because I need to stop this and to start another presentation. Otherwise, we cannot. Can you see this?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Let me see. Can you see?
I actually really have no idea. And where do you find that?
So this is an Wikiquote help starting a new page. I can
help starting a new page.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there
Well, yeah, we can click on help on the left-hand side.
So I share the link on the
And then we have a starting
channel.
a new page.
Yes, and if you scroll down, you can see using input box.
All right.
Can you see it?
Okay, I tend never to click on the help pages. That's shouldn't do that.
Can you
Okay.
do that one more time? Go back and do that one more time. How did you get there?
So I'm on the starting a new page.
Well, wait, before you're on starting your page, if you start on the main Wikiquote page, then how did you get to this?
So I just put the URL on the...
So the way I did it, I went on the main page and then I went on the menu on the left-hand side and I clicked help. That's the...
Let me see, because I went directly.
Click on the logo.
Yeah.
So that we start very.
But I put the link on the comments.
No, but it's easier to know how to find it again.
Yeah, how to find it again. Okay, I did that. Anthea, I clicked help. Now
let me see.
You click on the logo from the main page, and then click on help.
Yeah.
And when you're on help,
I see it. Starting a new page. I see it now. There's a link starting a new page.
Then it's in the help menu, starting a new page.
I see it now. I see it now.
Starting a new page, and if you scroll down, you can find the how to start a new article and the subsection saying using input box. And here you can, as you can see, you have the box of people, literary works. If you edit something, the button is become enabled, and you can start your article. Of course, it's a better way to edit is to do like a newbie, so start everything in your sandbox. So you need to put your user, and I don't know. So you can put, as usual, your username / and the name of the article you want to write. And then add a new person, add a new, here you will have add a new book, add a new film, depends on what you are, what do you want to write about.
Makes sense.
Okay.
That's I think it's a great idea to start with the template.
Yes, this is one way. Another way is that on the main page you are searching for something. So of course you see that this page doesn't exist. You have a red link. So yes. Another way to start an article is by the classical clicking on the red links and wrote about this article.
Can you show on the shared screen?
Yeah. It is not shared. Shared. No. Let me see where.
Yeah, we see you typing.
Okay. So
okay,
I want to write the article about camellia.
Uh-huh.
As you can see, create a new page, camellia, on this wiki, because camellia doesn't exist. So you have the red links, you click on the red link, and you start a new article by editing and putting everything as you know. Then here you put the summary, show the preview. You can see what you wrote, and you save the page. Even here, you need to put your user page namespace on the front of the article you want to write, because it's not a good way to publish directly as a new user. Is better than you start an article on the Sandbox, and then when you are sure about everything, you publish the page.
Okay.
Okay, another way, and this is the last, I promise. Another way, it's those to start by writing on the URL, on the URL. So here you have your username and you want to start a new article, the classical. Here it's the same. The software said that don't have Wikiquote does not have an article with this name. You can click create a Wikiquote article, and you do the same thing as the previous. You start by filling your article, filling the summary, showing the preview, and then publish the page. These are the three ways to start an article, the same as in Wikipedia. We have the same.
The one I would strongly suggest is rather to go directly from the template, so using the input box.
However, is the thing you choose. It's important to remember to put your namespace, your username, namespace behind on the front of the article. So when you publish, the article will go on your Sandbox and not directly on the namespace, main namespace, because the risk is the article can be deleted.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Wikiquote exists in multiple language like Wikipedia, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what if I have a notable historic woman who wrote in English and she also wrote in French, and I want to put one of her English quotes into Wikiquote, and I want to put one of her French quotes. Do I do all of that from? I will be editing in English because that's my that's the language I'm most comfortable editing in. But can I put something she wrote in French into English Wikiquote? I don't know if I'm making sense. Or do I need to go into French Wikiquote to add the French language quote?
Unfortunately, here I cannot say, because it's not my main project. I can see how it works. I can say how it works in Italian Wikipedia. In Italian Wikipedia, and I can also show you. You have both. Both the quotes in the original language and then the translated language. So, just an example. Sorry if I need to give an Italian example, but
we're not seeing what you're doing.
Sorry. Yes, you can see now.
You may be in a different tab.
Yeah, maybe a different tab.
So let me see which is a tab, because I need to understand user.
The example I have is Simone de Beauvoir, who wrote a book in 1949 called, in English, it's called The Second Sex. And there is a quote from that that I thought I checked English Wikiquote, and the particular quote I'm looking for, it's not an English Wikiquote. Maybe it's in French Wikiquote. I don't know. So that's my reason for asking, how do we deal with multiple languages?
De Beauvoir.
So, can you see now?
Yes.
Yes. So this is the quote about Lucia Sturza Bulandra, which was an actress, a Romanian actress. As you can see, this is a page about quotes of Lucia Sturza. So what Lucia Sturza Bulandra says. You can see that the first quote is in a Romanian, so the original language. The second quote in italic, the first is in Italian, so the first is the translated quote, and the second in italic is the original quote. This is how it works.
Yep.
Yes, you can, if you have quotes that are translated from another language, you need to say this. So you need to do this way. In English Wikipedia, as I understood, I'm not very expert in English Wikiquote, but as I remember, you need to put also the translation, so who translated, where was translated, and so on. So I think that because something it's similar, but some guidelines, some things could be different from language to language.
Well, if I'm looking at Simone de Beauvoir, many of them are only in English, and some of them have the original version. So if you look at the second sex, some of them have the French and the English at the same time, and the French is in italic. I think it would. So I'm not entirely sure what's the.
So the italic is for the original language. So the quotes, it's in French.
It doesn't seem mandatory, but it seems to me to be a good idea.
So here we need to ask in English Wikiquote, we need to ask some expert Wikimedian, but I think that it is very similar to Italian Wikipedia. So you need to put the translated version, and then in italic the original quote on the same block, and so on. I want to show you another thing. Let's see here. Here, as you can see, let's see this paragraph.
In French language, the only mandatory language is French, but you can add the original language if you have it. So it's not mandatory. It's a suggestion.
I don't know in Italian Wikipedia. In Italian Wikiquote is mandatory, so I don't know in other how it works.
It makes sense that if you are adding a quote in not the original language, that you must indicate who the translator was, and probably some other attribution regarding not just whom, but when they translated. For example, Simone de Beauvoir has been translated multiple times, but I'm looking at her entry in English Wikiquote, and I see that. I have another question about this. Sometimes it's bold, and sometimes the quote is not bold. What's the difference?
Yes, sometimes the text is in bold, and sometimes the text is not bold.
I don't know. I don't know.
The way I understood it is that apparently the bold means Those are really quotes that stand out, that are really famous, very well known, very big shots. But that was my understanding.
Okay.
Full translation, the idea, it's a bit weird because this notion of if you put the translation, then you need to put the name of the translator. If it's a writer with a book that has been translated, the translator is known. That's the translator of the book. But if it's anyone, such as a current artist that is saying something completely weird on television at some point, this will never be officially translated by a translator. It will just be a journalist that translated it. What do we do in this case?
I don't know what is to do in this case. I really, with translation, I'm not so. I'm not an expert in English Wikiquote. As I saw that the guidelines are different. For example, in Italian Wikipedia, Wikiquote, you don't have these subsections of sourced, misattributed, and so on. In English Wikiquote, you have this, so you need to separate the codes that was saying by someone with the codes that was reporting about this person on another source, and so on. And
Camelia, I have another question for you.
Yeah,
so you mostly edit in Italian.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So let's say on the Italian Wikiquote, you have a page about a notable woman, and you have multiple quotes from her, and you also have English translation. For some reason, you have all of that on there. Can I take that same information and put it in English Wikipedia, because it's going to have see what I mean? It's like, if it's in...
I try to do this thinking that is the same as in Wikipedia. You have an article in English and you translate it in Italian. But I saw, I work hard to do this because I saw that it's not the same. The references in Italian are put it in some way, so you can find these resources on the bottom as you have in Wikipedia, the section about references. In English Wikipedia, I didn't see this, so the reference is not a number with a link. It's something different. So I don't really know how it works translating from a language or another. I think that are some differences that you need to keep in mind. Another thing, for example, another difference in Wikiquote, Italian Wikiquote, if you put some quotes inside the Wikipedia page, this quote needs to be present in Italian Wikiquote. In English, Wikipedia is not mandatory. For example, let's see this case of Giulia Sturza Bulandra. As you can see, this paragraph, it's a quote in Italian and in Romanian. Okay, just see this quote. If I go on Italian Wikipedia, let me see. Just a moment.
Remember, Camelia, we don't see the other tabs.
Yes, I know. So I need to switch from tab to tab. So if you remember the section, here is a section in Romanian and in Italian. So the same identical section which is present in Italian Wikipedia need to be present in the Italian Wikiquote. This in English Wikipedia, as I can see, is not mandatory. So you can you don't need to have a quote if you have this quote into your Wikipedia article.
I have not ever edited Wikiquote, but I have embedded many quotes said by notable women into their Wikipedia articles, using usually a quote box, but there are other ways that you can handle quotes in English Wikipedia. And with no trouble, no one has asked me to put anything into Wikiquote. So I would like to put these quotes into Wikiquote, which is why it's important for me to learn how to do this. Seems like there's some things I need to learn here, though.
Yes, it's important because this way you have you did the thing in the right way. So as you need to do this, and also because I don't know you, but I love to see the other projects section full of I don't know, something in Commons, something in Wikisource, something in Wikiquote. So for me, it's very. That means that the article became complete. It's more rich with content. Is more complete about a biography. So it is better. Okay. Let's turn back to our slides. So we showed. Can you see this the slides now?
No.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Because it take some time to. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So here I started by using the URL, the article about Margaret Mitchell, because it's strange, but English Wikiquote don't have nothing about Margaret Mitchell. So as you can see, you can click creating the Wikiquote article. Here I put something. This is not using the the input box. So I put this text, this content by my own. So I put the file, the image. I put the incipit. I put the codes with the bold with everything it needed, external links, and so on. I filled the commentary text box. Let's see how. This is the preview, a classical wiki page, and then I saved the page. So now in my Sandbox, I have the Margaret Mitchell's draft article about in Wikiquote. All I can, as I said, is not my main project in Wikiquote. So every help you need, you can find a lot of resources on this site. First of all, you can start by seeing the request entries. So this is a page with every entries are requested in English Wikiquote, divided by as previously by topic, people, television, and so on. So you can start here. As in every wiki project, we have the village pump, so you can find help from someone else, from an expert, Wikiquotion and Cosivia. Sorry, I said in Italian, and so on. It's my pleasure to show you something was done in Italian Wikiquote for this campaign, because was very successful. So First of all, what was done before this campaign? Before this campaign, donna, which means woman, becomes a featured article. So it's full of quotes and proverbs. So this is a featured article. Another thing was done that the woman's quote of the days are marked by a special icon. This is Venus de Milo. So on the homepage, every quote was said by a woman. We'll have this icon near. This is the first portal in Italian Wikiquote. The first portal in Italian Wikiquote was Portale Donne, which means portal women. The community, the Italian community is very, very happy to done this. This is a campaign. This is the page we started on Italian Wikiquote. So we put it all the information about the campaign, the cards, the postcards, and these are in this moment the articles was written. So we started. I think we started not on October for sure, maybe some day ago. So I think 1 week, I don't remember, not more than 2 weeks. So we have now in this moment 28 entries in Italian Wikiquote. As you can see, the community answered very, very quickly and wrote a lot of articles. These are the useful links. Some I use it into the slides. Some are about help. Some are about style. Some are about, I don't know, some biographies that can be used like a model because are very rich. For example, Kamala Harris, which is very, very actual. These are the credits of the images I used for the logos and the screenshots I used. And I thank you so much, and many thanks to the Italian Wikiquote community.
Camelia, can you show us again how we insert a link in a Wikipedia article to a Wikiquote entry? I'm not saying inserting a quote. I'm saying, inserting see the other project.
Wouldn't we do that in Wikidata?
So no, you need, let me share another. So here, share screen.
But Rosie also has a point. It would make sense to.
But you don't need to go to Wikidata. You at the end you will find this in Wikidata. But so here, can you see?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I suppose you could do it in English Wikipedia. Sometimes people add the sister projects, Wiki,
yes, exactly.
especially Wikisource. If in Wikidata there's already an author page for Jane Doe listed as her Wikisource link in Wikidata, and then there's a secondary page in Wikisource, you can't add it into Wikidata, but in the Wikipedia article in external links, you can add the Wikisource.
You can see now.
There is that's maybe how you would do it for Wikiquote, although.
So I took this is the Wikipedia page. As you can see, here you have the section other projects. I don't know in English Wikipedia is how it the name of this. Let me see. What is the name of this? As you can see, in other project you have. Let's see with Wikitext, we use this kind of template, interproject. So with this template, every other wiki projects related to Lucia Sturza Burlanda will be listed here. So just putting interproject, where, as you can see, you have.
Lucia, are you, Camelia, are you on the right tab? Because we don't, it's still on the Lucia page, but I don't see where.
Well, I don't know why it doesn't.
And
So
the Lucia page, just by way of example, I'm on it now I think I am in the Romanian Wikipedia page of Lucia, but there is no English Wikipedia.
No, exactly.
Do you have an example where there is an English?
Let's see, exactly.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. So,
yeah, but at least we are sure. We know
Yes.
there's a Wikiquote page, so there's probably a link to the Wikiquote.
Yes, let's go to that one.
So let's see. But it's still freezed. Yes, it's still freezed. I don't know.
We still see Lucia on.
Yes, I need to stop and try again.
Whilst you're doing it, one of my big questions when I wanted to insert a new article is really which women are allowed into Wikiquotes. Notability issues. Can we safely assume that when a woman has an article on Wikipedia, then we are 100% sure she will be accepted?
In Italian Wikipedia, yes. In Wikiquote, yes. In English Wikiquote, no. Notability, yes. You can have a notable person in English Wikipedia, but don't have this article in Wikiquote. So the quote of this person is not quotable. So she didn't say nothing important. And this, I saw this because it's one of the guidelines I saw in one, seeing all the help pages. I saw this, and for me was a surprise, because I assumed it was like in Italian Wikipedia. So every single notable person, it's also notable in Wikiquote, but it's not in English Wikiquote. It's not like this. So you can see Kamala Harris. This is Kamala Harris. I scroll down.
Camelia, I have another question. Is it possible for someone English Wikiquote page, because her quote is considered notable, but there's no English Wikipedia article? Does it work like that also?
You can, I think you can find I try to put on the external links all the things I thought was important to someone to learn better. And for sure, on the last last slide of the presentation, you can find everything you need. So just just click and see what is about. I cannot see in this moment the piece where I saw that the notability is not it's not enough. Notability in English Wikipedia is not enough to be also notable in Wikiquote. But if you search from in these links, you can find this information. Maybe I can also put something.
I know that the main problem I faced when I tried adding quotes is this question of sourcing. So for a writer, that's fairly easy, but for most other people, there are thousands of quotes being listed in various places, but there is no source for that quote. So this
Exactly.
is really a big guess.
As I saw in Italian Wikipedia, Wikiquote, for example, are reliable quoted also articles from reliable resources. In English, Wikiquote, I didn't see a lot. I saw sources almost from books. So I'm not sure here what to say if an article, I don't know, on New York Times, it's a reliable resource or not, because all the example I found it are the sources are taken by books, so are quoted from the books.
Yeah, it can be books or easily interviews, in particular
Or
TV or written
direct
interviews.
exactly.
Those are the easy ones.
Camille,
Exactly.
regarding searchability, I'm looking at the categories in English
Yeah.
Wikiquote. In English Wikipedia, we have thousands of categories about women. 19th century American women novelists, just by example. But it doesn't appear to me that there are gender categories in English Wikiquote.
No, it doesn't appear to me not. So I didn't see. All I saw that are together. So I didn't find categories separated like in English Wikipedia, women writers or women.
Right. It doesn't seem.
I didn't find this.
So there's no way to tell if there's, the purpose of categories is to help you find things.
But Rosie, maybe Wikipedia has some sense because you have a lot of articles, you have a lot of categories, you have a lot. In Wikiquote, if you have only 2, 3, 5 articles, is not needed so much separation between categories.
Yeah, but Camelia, I am looking in English Wikiquote category, authors from the United States.
Exactly.
There are hundreds of articles in that category, as well as dozens of subcategories that have hundreds of articles in them. So there are thousands of authors from the United States who have Wikiquote pages. But there's no way to tell if the gender, there are no gendered subcategories such as women authors from the United States. So to find a woman author, you would actually have to just look, just keep looking, and just browsing the initial category. I see man, woman, man, 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 woman, man, 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 maybe woman.
Or do a query because most of these women are probably mentioned female in Wikidata. It's not great, but
so yes, the only way to do this is using Wikidata. So as you can see, we talk first about Kamala Harris. Inside the Wikipedia page, I didn't find the section about the other projects. So I needed to go to the Wikidata item. So as you can see, we have here all the Wikipedia entries in all the languages. We have 98 languages. So scrolling down, we have Wikibooks, nothing. We have Wiki News in French, English, French, Portugal, Russian, and Chinese. We also have Wikiquote in English, French, Hebrew, and Italian. Kamala Harris in Italian was written this during this campaign. And Wikisource we have in English. So these are all the information about the other projects. I don't know why we don't have this section in English Wikipedia. As I show to you in Italian Wikipedia, we have the inter-project section. When using this template, you are the template put inside all the other projects related to this biography.
To go back to the question of how to identify, categorize female, there was a discussion in the pump on that topic with Justin. And yeah, apparently there's no such category, but why would that be? Unless it doesn't seem, no one reacted saying, yeah, we decided against it. So I suppose we can do it.
So
they are mostly discussing the terms to use, whether to use women or girls or female. I say these discussions have been going on and on and on in Wikipedia. So yeah, just don't reinvent the wheel. Use what Wikipedia decided in the end. It will be easier for everyone.
I think that here it's the same thing like the other wiki projects. If you have consensus on, I don't know, creating female categories or not, you can do it, but you need to have a discussion. And the problem here that is these projects are very welcomed, but are also only a few people. So I don't know how can finish if people agree or not. So, but
Rosie, would you launch a discussion? No, but no worry. I promise it's not like Wikipedia where you get thousands of pages of discussion. Here, if you have 2 or 3 people giving a feedback, that's all. So it's cool.
Well, Florence, let me give it some thought. Let me give that some thought, whether or not I feel like launching into a discussion on Wikiquote. But I see that there are other differences. For example, in English Wikipedia, we have a category American writers. Okay? But in Wikiquote, the category is authors from the United States, which seems to me very similar to the naming structure in Commons, right? Commons does that. Commons does authors from, right? So
yeah,
there are some, I think we would need to actually study or talk to an admin, a Wikiquote admin, regarding naming structures in Wikiquote, because forgetting even gender, just the name of the category is different. Authors from the United States is different than American writers.
How for writers, how do you name it for female on the English Wikipedia versus on Commons? How do they make the difference?
For example, in English Wikipedia, we might have 19th century American women writers or novelists or poets. But in Wiki Commons, it would probably be probably, I don't even know if they have anything at all like that. I think they would probably have writers from the United States, 19th century writers, because, Commons is just different in how they have things set up. Right.
I can say safely that the system to identify female versus male is not finalized on Commons.
Right.
Because in the past, when I tried to do some of the contests, it was super complicated. Some women were in the wrong categories, or there were no categories, or it was absolutely not finalized.
I have the same experience with Commons, and yeah, I think that English Wikipedia just handles it differently than Commons does, but other Wikipedias do too. For example, my understanding in German Wikipedia is that there isn't a category such as 19th century American women novelists. There would be a category for woman. I forget what's the word for woman in German. I know for man it's head. I forget what it is for woman. But you would have the category, you would give her the category woman, and then you would have a category for 19th century American novelist. And so it wouldn't be 19th century American woman novelist. There would be two categories, woman and 19th century American novelists.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think you could also do it, I think, in German. You know what? I shouldn't be saying. I know this is a fact regarding gender, but it might also be for religion. It might be that, for example, in English Wikipedia, you might have something like, you know what? I don't know, so I better just stop there. I know about gender.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's not dealt with the same way at all. But for the English Wikiquote, maybe that's worth at least asking the question whether this was something discussed in the past and formalized, or whether it was just that at some point one guy came and started cleaning up the space and did it this way without any real community discussion. And if it's the case and if it can be changed, then someone needs to help with the boat to fix the because there are quite many entries, so it's quite a bit of work to move that around.
Well, not if you use something like a AutoWiki browser, and you could probably do it. It might not be so difficult if you use a tool. Florence, if you start a conversation about this in Wikiquote when you ping me, I will speak up.
Mm-hmm. So you are asking the French person to actually manage the discussion for the English people.
No,
yeah, right. Because we fixed that on the French one.
Done that. I mean, it's your idea, so I don't want to steal your thunder, first of all. Go ahead. Let's move on. I don't want to.
Okay, let's talk about that later. We can do something. In any case, it's not urgent. This has been around for 15 years, so another month or so is not a big deal.
As you can see, I found the box related to other articles are not, as in Italian Wikipedia, are on the right. So you can find on Kamala Harris going on the bottom of the page, you can find the box related to links about Kamala Harris on Commons, on Wikinews, on Wikiquote, and on Wikisource.
Mm-hmm. And we see how it is structured for categories.
Yes.
Okay, so we let's just agree that we have something that we could work on there.
Yes, it's not finished. We just started something, and it's everything we can everybody learn, because and but we have also the people to ask from Wikiquote. I just found a guy which has 14 years of experience on Wikiquote, so we can ask on Village Pump.
Okay, any further point that we should see that could help us to move forward?
Okay, so
have more question, Rosie?
I don't think so. I think this has been an excellent presentation. I've learned a lot. So thank you for that. I think we had some questions that came in while we were speaking. At least I saw things come across the bottom of my screen. Are we keeping an eye on those? Is someone keeping an eye on that? Maybe John?
May
Well,
not.
there's some question and answered. There's still a little bit of uncertainty with regards to this acknowledgement from when we move things from one language to the next. Such as on Wikipedia, when we use part of the text and we translate it in French, we have a template to indicate that the translation, the text came from the English Wikipedia, for example. I don't know if there is something equivalent for Wikiquote.
We need to understand this, how to do translation in Wikiquote and how to mark this as a translation. This is one of the things we need to, and if works to translate from another language, like in Wikipedia, because I really didn't see much quotes in other languages in English Wikiquote. For example, Simone de Beauvoir works a lot of French, but the quotes are in English. So I refuse to think that she didn't say nothing in French, not about to put there in French and then translate it into English. So we need to understand very well this mechanism of reporting the original language, and also the other about translation, because I think they are very important. Are things that are the people are interesting because are things easy to do apparently. So it's easier to translate and not to start from scratch.
Yeah, well, if we consider things anyway, there's, and I don't want to offend anyone here, there's no creation in reporting a quote. That's some work because we need to find the quote, know where to put it, get the sources and so on. But there's no creation. So it doesn't really make sense to mention that we actually picked up a part of it from another language to include in a second language. The thing I would rather insist on is putting the original language and maybe the translation when we have it. Seems so more interesting to me. Because we know perfectly that sometimes the translation are being done poorly and they misrepresent what the author wanted to say because the translation is not good.
Yes, the translation is something additional. You need to have the original text, the original quote, and then you need to translate because not all the people on this project could understand French or let's see, I don't know, Chinese or Armenian and so on. So it's useful, but it's useful as an additional information. So
okay, great.
Can we say that yes, it was a nice meeting?
Absolutely. I definitely
love this. We need to do it again.
I'm reviewing some messages from our viewers, and do we have an extra minute to talk about some of that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, Jan.
If you click the comments tab, Camelia, you'll be able to see them. I'm looking at one from Zico, and they say, hello, I remember that in German Wikiquote, there we go, the rules say that you need a reputable secondary source that proves that a quote is notable, but in practice, I hardly ever saw a secondary source. So that's interesting. That's German Wikiquote. Do you know anything about other language Wikiquote? whether this is true about a reputable secondary source?
No, I can say nothing on this. So we need to ask to someone from German Wikiquote.
And then the one right under that from user Schmerzical, regarding on French Wikiquote. If you translate the quote yourself, you can write Wikiquote as the translator. Okay.
French, I'm not. I need to study about French. It was hard to study about English Wikiquote too. So yes, that was also a great fun. So
you can do it, Camelia. You can do it.
Then we have a quote right under it from Miroslav Locci, who says, I am also concerned about how the quote can be translated into our languages. Not everyone has skills for it. That's important to remember and be aware.
Yes, this is one of the things we need to understand very, very good.
And then further down, there is a message from Schmertzville again. If possible, the best thing to do is use an already existing translation. Obviously, that's not always possible. And then let's see here. I'm looking for if there's any other.
Sorry for the unpronounceable pseudo. Nice.
That's a tough one.
Schwurzel. Yeah.
So even for me, it's tough.
This is interesting. Further down, Miroslav Locci says, at the bottom of English Wikipedia article of Kamala Harris,
it's what I said, because I saw his message, and I show you the box of the other projects. So yes, I responded to this comment.
And then still further down in the comments, another good one from Miroslav, who says, will we have this video saved somewhere and possible to be viewed later?
Yes, it's in YouTube, on YouTube channel of Wikipedia Weekly. And it is also shared on Wikidonne group on Facebook and the Wikipedia Weekly on Facebook. But maybe it's easy to go on YouTube.
And in any cases, I will also put the link to the video in the SheSaid page on Meta, so that we have a quick link and know where to go to look at it. Yes. I will probably share it with the Wiki Loves Women handle as well. But yeah, with all those places, in any cases, it's saved. It's available. Yeah.
I have also
channels too. Yeah.
I also published the slides. I don't know why I cannot put the link on the chat.
Did you put them on Commons?
Yes.
Then we can include them as well on the SheSaid page. Yes. All right. You know what? I think there is a lot to do on Wikiquote.
Yes.
Really?
You know, it's really nice. It is really nice. I love this mix with Wikipedia. It's very it's fun.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you, Jeanne, also for hosting us.
Yes. Under the scene, we have Jana Inali from Wikimedia Swearage. We thank him, and bye. See you the next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye to all of our viewers.
Bye-bye, Nestos. See you with you.
Ciao.